Yo, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it's Ace. Now, I know we're all hyped for Nintendo's latest console, codenamed NX, which is rumored to be released around this holiday season. What color will it come in? What are the specs? What games will the system launch? Well, we don't know. So, to build up some hype, I've been thinking about 10 games, to be exact, that would be awesome to have a sequel for on Nintendo's latest console. So let's jump into the top 10 games that deserve a sequel on Nintendo's latest console. Dashing its way to number 10 is Okami. The game was released on 2006 on the PS2 and Wii, and even has a prequel on the DS called Okamiden. The creator of the game, Clover Studios, are known for making stellar games such as Beautiful Joe, and sadly, the studio has closed down since then. But you know what, their legacy lives on with these games. Anyways, you play as a sun god named Amaterasu, or Amaterasu? I don't really know how to say her name, but you know, she's a cute little doggy. But don't let those cute looks fool you. She destroys demons with her divine weapons. This game pays homage to Legend of Zelda with an open world atmosphere and dungeons with epic bosses that you must defeat. Ho ho ho. The game even has its own Navi type character in the form of a little guy named Isun, who is hilarious and foul-mouthed. It's been a decade since we got a proper sequel to Okami. The game is in dire need of a sequel. With new HD textures and a new powerful console, Capcom could produce a legendary title with more beautiful sceneries and more badass bosses. And who doesn't want more of that? Inking its way to number 9 is Splatoon. Now I know this game just came out last year, but with how well the game did on the Wii U, considering its low install base, it deserves a sequel. The Splatoon series should be a Nintendo staple for years to come. We should call the sequel Splatoon, get it? And then the next one, Splat 3, yeah. Enough about the game's name. You play as a kid, or as a squid. Who knows, but you play as a person who can turn to both a kid and a squid in a first-person shooter. Instead of taking out enemies, your main focus is to cover area in ink. You'll be inking territory with the weapon of your choice, from long-range snipers, to medium-range splash shot juniors, to even the close-range paint roller. Now, there are two things I want in Splatoon's sequel. The first thing is the ability to vote on which map I want to play on, instead to select two maps that alternate. Because, you know, who wants to play on two maps for an hour straight? Like, that's pretty boring if you ask me. Now, the most important feature I want added into the sequel is voice chat. Come on, how can we have a team-based shooter without voice chat? Nintendo, I know you want to have that kid-friendly image, but you know, times are changing. We need voice chat in a team-based multiplayer. At least allow friends-only voice chat, like what you do with Mario Kart. I can't even, oh my god, it just infuriates me how we can't have voice chat in a team-based shooter game. So Nintendo, make those two things happen, and Splatoon, or should I say Splat2, will be a stellar game. Crossing the finish line at number 8, we have Animal Crossing. Now fans were outraged when Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival was announced, because at first it looked like an HD Animal Crossing. Boy, were they disappointed when they found out that was just a board game with an Animal Crossing skin. With the success of New Leaf on the 3DS, I'm puzzled why Animal Crossing never made it to the Wii U, or perhaps they want to save ideas for the NX version, which is understandable because of the Wii U's poor sales. Personally, I'm not that into life sims, but the chill vibe that I get from Animal Crossing just pulls me in. The Animal Crossing series has never been in HD, so it'd be perfect if it could be on the NX. And all the Nintendo fans can get what they really want. Knocking out the competition at number 7 is Punch-Out. It makes sense for a new Punch-Out on the NX. Sure, you can buy Punch-Out on the Wii, but maybe we can get a more accurate representation of what Punch-Out can be on a more powerful console. For example, when Mac gets hurt, show his swollen eye and bloody nose. During the match, show Mac's body language better. When he's winning, he'll be pumped. When he's losing, show exhaustion in his body. In addition, I would like more guest characters, like how Mario's the ref and Donkey Kong's a boss in the game. So how about we add a couple others like Captain Falcon, maybe a fighting type Pokemon like Hitmonchan or Machamp. How awesome would that be? I'm eagerly anticipating the sequel to this classic game on the NX. Arriving at number 6 is none other than Bayonetta. With her recent debut as a playable character in Smash 4, I feel like Nintendo and Platinum have a close relationship, and Bayonetta 3 seems possible. I heavily enjoyed Bayonetta 1 and 2. I prefer 2 more because of the combat. It felt more smooth, and there are no dumb quick-time death events. But both are great games. Bayonetta 2 is one of the best action games I've ever played in my entire life. I crave more of its over-the-top hack-and-slash action and grotesque finishes. The game is critically acclaimed, and for a good reason, and deserves a sequel on the NX. Finishing the race at number 5 is FZero. Fans have been begging for a sequel to this game for about a decade. Race on Mute City in Mario Kart 8 and you'll see why. It's a fast-paced racing game that tests your ability to react. Personally, I would like an open-world action game similar to the Batman Arkham City games. Captain Falcon can still race in the Blue Falcon for fast-paced racing sequences, but if you mix up that with open-world attributes such as kicking, punching, and Falcon punches, we could have a stellar game on our hands. But that's just my opinion. I wouldn't mind if it still kept the same racing attributes. FZero would have to compete with Mario Kart, but hey, those games have lived side by side with each other in the past. Retro Studios has been working on a game for 3 years. Hopefully that game is FZero on the NX. At number 4, we have No More Heroes. Both No More Heroes 1 and 2 were excellent games, but I gotta give the upper hand to No More Heroes 2 just because in order to get money, you have to play these fun retro minigames and they don't feel like a chore. Both games were released on the Wii and made by Suda51, who also made the game Killer 7 on the GameCube. You play as an anime-loving otaku who loves hot girls that goes by the name of Travis Touchdown. He uses a beam katana to slice through his foes. You can also use wrestling moves if you get bored of slicing and dicing. The regular grunts aren't troublesome, however, the boss battles are really challenging and fun. Each boss has its own unique pattern, and once you figure it out, it's extremely satisfying, and you're rewarded with an epic cutscene of you killing that boss. One improvement I would like in the game is enemy variation. I got bored of killing the same old grunts for 10 hours. A little variation would help and make the game a lot more fun. The power of Nintendo's latest console could allow the creators to put in the most epic, over-the-top bosses the world has ever seen, and we can now even use the toilet in Super HD! Rising to the occasion at number 3 is Kid Icarus Uprising. Pit has really grown in popularity ever since his debut in Brawl. We got to experience a brand new reboot on the 3DS. However, I felt the hardware limitations of the 3DS limited the game as a whole. On the NX, Kid Icarus Uprising could have more detailed environments and epic looking bosses. The Overlord himself, Hades, already looks like a malicious villain, so imagine if he got a graphical overhaul. Not only would Kid Icarus benefit graphically from being on the NX, it would benefit control wise as well. Personally, I felt the controls on the 3DS weren't that bad aside from minor hand cramps, but others in the community complained that they couldn't play the game for more than an hour because their hands hurt so much. That's because in order to aim, you have to use your stylus, but I've played many hours of Metroid Prime Hunters on the DS before playing Kid Icarus, so I built up some immunity. But for others, a dedicated gaming controller will help them enjoy the game. In addition, Nintendo could improve on the game's online multiplayer. I got bored of playing on the same 4 to 5 maps every single time. The gameplay felt so smooth and it was really enjoyable actually. Hopefully Sakurai and his team add some new features like new weapons, new stages, and especially voice chat. The Kid Icarus series would highly benefit from being on the NX. The game wouldn't be limited by hardware limitations, and Sakurai and his team can do whatever they want. Reporting in at number 2 is the Metroid Prime series. Fans of the series have been asking for a successor to the 3D Metroid franchise. Considering that 2016 is the year's 30th birthday, I wouldn't be surprised if the Big N had Retro working on something new. The Metroid series has never been in HD, and that needs to change now. Nintendo needs an FPS for fans of the genre. Sure, we have Splatoon, but Splatoon lacks that epicness. By that I mean there are no dangerous looking bosses, and no sense of realism that the Splatoon's carny anime style can accomplish. Now that Nintendo has experience with online servers, online multiplayer sounds incredibly fun. Make a lobby with some of your pals and head into some 5v5 first person shooting action. They could make the Metroid series the equivalent of Microsoft's Halo. Before we go into our number 1 pick, I would like to give some honorable mentions. Mario Strikers released on the GameCube and Wii. This sports game is a mix between soccer and football with a Mario twist. Pokemon Battle Revolution, it's Pokemon on the big screen. What more do you want? Last but not least, Beautiful Joe. This fun beat 'em up is great and you guys should play it. Now making its grand appearance at number 1 is Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy is by far my favorite Wii game of all time. If I had to choose between Super Mario Galaxy 1 or 2, I would give the choice to number 1 because of the hub world. But aside from that, Galaxy 2 just feels like a Mario 1.5. Even on the Wii's limited hardware, Mario Galaxy manages to look visually fantastic. Imagine what would it look like on an HD console. Mario Galaxy takes the old 2D formula and changes it up into an outstanding fun 3D adventure. You have plenty of power-ups to choose from the Cloud Power, allowing Mario to make an extra platform, the Boo Power which lets Mario go through walls, and there are also returning power-ups such as the Fire Flowers. I'm sure Nintendo will add some new power-ups and fun bosses in the new sequel. They can even add co-op in the game where player 1 plays as Mario and player 2 plays as Luigi. In a video game industry that seems to think that local multiplayer will die, it would be refreshing to see Nintendo add multiplayer into the game. Overall, if there's one game I want on Nintendo's latest console, it would be Mario Galaxy 3. That brings us to the end of my top 10 games that should get a sequel on the NX, or Nintendo's latest console. If you like what you saw, hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already. This is Ace, and I'm signing out. Hey there, if you want to see more top 10s or 5s, and Nintendo discussions, subscribe! And while you're at it, I have 3 videos here for you to choose from. We got this one right here, another one right there, and we can't forget about this one. And don't forget guys, have a stellar day.
せーの